Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have another special guest on. And the reason why I think this guest is special is because the name of the business is not something that you usually hear. So I was very interested in having a conversation with Suzie Yorke to understand, what is Love Good Fat. So welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Terrell. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the business, Love Good Fats, tell us a little bit about your background before you started that business.
So my background is I'm coming up to 30 years as a marketing veteran. I was a marketing executive for the last 15 years in consumer packaged goods and at Weight Watchers and at large multinationals and PepsiCo before that and Procter and Gamble. And then I did a little bit of consulting and was in the natural space, was looking for an idea to start a company and kind of all the stars align for the conditions to be perfect for me to give life to Love Good Fats.
Awesome, awesome. Now, how long have you been running Love Good Fats?
So we're just celebrating our third anniversary this month. So we started shipping our first box at here in Canada at Whole Foods 3 years ago now, September 1st. So it's gone by pretty fast.
Wow, wow. Well, happy 3-year anniversary.
Well, thank you.
And if I'm doing the quick math in my head, you said 30 years in marketing, 3 years. You don't look like you've been working that long.
Oh, I have. I'm 53, and when I was 15, I told my mom I wanted to have my own company one day. And I went to McGill, and I actually did engineering, and then I got a job in business. So it was a bit different. I was kind of busting through a bit of a ceiling back then, but it worked out well. And then I went from one big brand and big multinational to another, but I knew I wanted one day to have my own brand. But I was a single mom, pretty young, and then had another child, and I was doing triathlons, and then Ironman triathlons, and I just when you can always drum up a bunch of reasons why the timing's not right. So I have 35 years of reasons why I wasn't quite ready to start my own brand. But then I hit 50 and I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Gotcha. Wow. Wow. That now you just gave me a lot of things that I have a lot of questions about. I think the first one is the engineering into business and then led into marketing. Like,
Mhm.
how did that transpire?
It was 30 years ago. I graduated McGill in 1990, so the times were a little bit different. We were learning how to build computers, and I was at a kind of highly technical school too. And I was running a student society. I was running on campus a business program to give grants to university students to buy the first computers because the Quebec government was trying to encourage that. And I was trying to get on Wall Street, and after 19 interviews, I didn't get on. I didn't get on the job, get the job I was looking for. And then the plant manager from Procter and Gamble, who was recruiting at McGill because he was an alumni, he said he wanted to meet me because I had this great kind of resume of what they were looking for back then. And he said, "Oh dear, you need to meet our Toronto office because that's where marketing happens, and I think you'd be way better in marketing, although I want you at the plant." And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not working at a plant. I worked 2 summers at IBM plant doing some power things. And I was like, nope, nope, I want business. So, they flew me a couple times, and my first job was marketing adult diapers. So,
Wow.
so my dad was just like, "Oh, what are you doing? You have this." Yeah, I had all these job offers across North America, and I'm like, "Nope, I'm going to learn how to do marketing on adult diapers." So it worked out really well, actually.
Awesome. Now, marketing is a huge piece of, starting a business. So when it came into Love Good Fats, I mean, how much of your marketing background played a role when you first launched the business?
Yeah, I would think there's a couple of key things that make a really big difference. And in consumer packaged goods, you learn like you're in the trenches of the very aggressive brand share wars, and the stakes are high. I was in multinationals with PepsiCo and Procter and Gamble and Conagra and Heinz, and it's, if you're not good, your brand loses share. And if you lose share too much too long, like the stock craters at a company. And it's not for the faint of heart. So you have a very disciplined approach to figuring out how to make sure your brand is well positioned. You have the right innovation at the right pace, supported the right way, with the right levels of awareness and trial, at the right pricing with the right product, right? The 3 Ps, and then awareness and trial. And you get punished very quickly when you don't know what you're doing. So you learn very quickly what to do. So I was very fortunate to work in, have a really strong foundation, and worked on brands that were in difficulty, then went and worked on other brands that they said, oh, we need help. Doritos and Tostitos I launched in Canada. Wasn't even launched when I went over. And then Heinz Ketchup, had declined for 10 years. Weight Watchers had declined for 10 years. So I kind of followed a path of solving these brand problems that, for a bunch of reasons, the brand wasn't growing. So when it came time to do some consulting after my last VP job, I was in the natural space. And as you know, there's 4,000 new brands launched every year after year. And there's probably 3,992 that don't make it, because it's hard. You kind of have to have the 3 Ps and awareness and trial, a little bit of luck with timing, and sometimes a little bit of luck with lucky breaks too, an account that will work with you. So I think the background gave me the respect of how difficult it is to launch a brand and nurture it, and so I didn't take anything for granted. It was my saved lifelong savings, my kids' university savings, and my livelihood, really, right? I was putting kind of my last part of my career and putting it all in this basket. So but my strengths have always been on turning around businesses using consumer research, consumer insights, intuition, judgment, good marketing, common sense, to mix that all together and follow kind of what my gut tells me when I kind of have all of that kind of mixed together. And it kind of worked out, it just, I kind of had, the first step is always positioning, and I kind of did a good job on the positioning, optimized it enough times with research. I knew I could see the tea leaves that fats was coming back. I'd read enough books and was tuned in enough with the medical doctors back 4 years ago. I could see, as a marketer, I could see what's happening. Like, how it starts and how it bubbles. And I have 10 years of marketing executive and weight loss. So I kind of knew, I knew all of this is going to come together. And then what I wasn't counting on is just keto going nuts. So I launched before keto, and we were within 6 weeks at the Whole Foods and the store managers that I talked to in Ontario said, and all the natural health food stores that I talked to, within the first 6 to 8 weeks, they were all telling me, "Oh, you're the founder. Congratulations, you're the number 1 and 2 selling," right away. So we knew, and that was before keto, right? That was fall of 17. So I think, I have a long list of the things that didn't go right, and the near misses, and the close calls, but I certainly have been humbled with that. But I kind of had the right positioning, the right product, the right price value equation at the right time to just take off.
Awesome. And speaking of the product, so what are the products that people can expect to get when they're looking at Love Good Fat?
Okay. What you can always expect to get is a keto friendly, which means less than 4 to 5 grams per portion. So per bar or per shake, 1 to 2 grams of sugar only, 100% clean ingredients. So we have gluten-free, no soy, non-GMO project verified, responsibly sourced, soy-free. So we kind of have a long list of hyper clean ingredients. We've never put sugar alcohols yet in our products. They don't need to be sweet. So you don't kind of have that type of taste. Just a very, very clean bar. Because we kind of reversed engineer it to have the right ratios of the right good fats and the right fibers. What we're realizing is that the biggest benefit is, and the number one comment is, I feel so full. Like it's a really filling snack, we call it snack bar, but it's really kind of a, feel full, longer type of bar, because you kind of have like a bar, it's 200 calories. And because it's the right fats and fibers, you really, really feel satiated. You're not just filling up on, on light carbs and sugars. So
Gotcha.
that's the promise. There's no product that kind of leaves our hands without that checklist. And then on top of it, they're really good. Our tagline is ridiculously delicious. And we'd like to think we've surprised the world with a protein bar that's actually really, really good.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, where can people find the product and where can they find you online or on social media?
Yeah, so we're really easy to find because we're on Amazon. So Love Good Fats, Amazon Canada, Amazon US. Our website is lovegoodfats.com. So really easy to find there. We're also in, I think it's 14,000 stores in the US. So we're in a bunch of Walmart. We're in all the Whole Foods, all the Sprouts. We're many of the Krogers. We're in a bunch of banners. And if you go to our website and you click Store Finder, you'll see all the stores that we're in. And in Canada, we're in, 6,000 stores. We're everywhere. In pretty much in Canada, we're everywhere, including at Costco and Walmart and Loblaws and all the big banners. So we're pretty easy to find here.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, one question I think that I guess the audience would really be interested in is, what was that journey or that process like in getting your product in all of these outlets, like all the big box office stores, like the Whole Foods and such? Like, what was that process like?
Yeah, it's really hard, like getting distribution. You kind of hear from the icons in the space will always tell you there's two steps. One is getting distribution and two is keeping distribution. So
Hmm.
getting on the shelf and then having your product turn enough so you stay on the shelf. And it's a bit of a challenge because to get on the shelf, you have to have a proof of concept. Like you have to be able to convince these retailers to take a chance on you, because some retailers will charge you listing fees, but and so it covers their costs a bit, but there's still a cost to not putting a strong product on the shelf, right? They could put something else that could be stronger. So there's an opportunity cost for them. And so you have to convince them that your product, once it's on the shelf, is going to sell more than other products. So, we were fortunate enough in Canada that it literally, as I mentioned, 10 stores, like there's 6 Whole Foods here, 7 Whole Foods in Ontario. And, we went through UNFI distributor, we got listed at Whole Foods, got listed at UNFI, got listed at the other distributor, Purity Life. And then suddenly 100 natural health food stores here in Ontario carried us. But then overnight, we're their best selling bar. Boom, boom, boom. So then the phone rings. Like it goes crazy. Then the phone started ringing in the US saying, whoa, we're looking at your Canadian numbers. Wow, what's going on? So then we started getting the banners down south looking at their Canadian numbers saying, could you fly down and come see us? So that's kind of how it happened.
Gotcha. So how did you keep up with the production volume then?
Oh, it's been nuts. Like the first year, our year 2, we grew 5,400%. And then our year
Wow.
3, like last year, we grew 550%. So we've had like the exponential growth. And luckily we were at a co-packer. So, we're a sales and marketing company. We're not we don't make I don't make bars for a living. So we have a co-manufacturer, a co-man, and they were able to scale. They were able to scale and go from literally, when I was driving up the purchase orders myself on Excel for, a printout from my little home printer at 100,000 bars. And then, a handful of months later, we had, 7 million bars kind of, okay,
Wow.
we need to make, when you go from that scale, we're here
Hmm.
and we need to make, you go to that multiplier. It was crazy. But I've had a board of directors from day one.
Okay.
So initially it was, no employees. Then I became an employee, an unpaid one. And then, a few more, but I've always had a board of director and advisors up front. So even though we were small, we were scaling fast.
Hmm.
We kind of had the right strategic partnership, and I was surrounded by the right experts that know about bars. And we all kind of knew that it could take off. Like, I don't think anyone expected the numbers in Canada, because I don't think
Okay.
any bar brand has done, what we've done in Canada. I mean, we're, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 times larger in Canada than a lot of the large US bar brands. Like, in
Hmm.
Canada, we trump them. So no one ever expected, you kind of expect a little niche bar brand and do a
Gotcha.
couple of million. And so no one expected what we got in terms of the results, but we were ready for it. So we
Hmm.
were able to scale.
Gotcha.
It
Gotcha.
worked
Now,
out.
I mean, now when you mentioned, you said, early on going from a couple hundred to over seven. Now this is 7 million in a year.
No, no, no. Like we said, no, like we've had, we've sold over in dollars. I think we're at something like
Wow.
70 million or something so
Wow.
far. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Like
is impressive.
yeah. So we were able to scale like really quickly. And then we were we were filling distribution, and
Hmm.
we're kind of like, there's a lot of good activity. And then we've had a lot of support from big banners in Canada,
Hmm.
so Costco and Loblaws. And the consumer, like, we launched a lot of innovation. So we started with 2 bars, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2
Wow.
shakes, 2 more, and now we're just launching 2 more. So
Okay.
you kind of fill the pipeline, and we got at Costco and Loblaws and Walmart, and that, that's a lot of, the consumers are like, oh, I'm going to try these 2, I'm going to try these 2, I'm going to try these 2. So we were able to scale really quickly. So we're, very, very grateful of the
Awesome.
loyalty that we've built already.
Awesome. Now, with that level of success, so where you went from, taking the chance of your savings, the savings you had for your kids' school, to taking that big of a chance, to having this level of success. So what is it now that keeps you motivated to keep going at it?
Well, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a little kind of energizer bunny with, 11 Ironmans and still kind of going. And, I
Wow.
kind of, if I get knocked down, I'll kind of get up, and usually get up kind of stronger, because kind of figures things out. We're just kind of starting our journey. We're rolling into the US. We're in a bunch of doors, over 10,000 doors, but we have, way, way, way more to go. You look at brands like Cliff and Kind. I mean, we have a long runway to go, but we think that we have what it takes to be, a really big brand. And I kind of set a lofty mission for the company and the brand, which is to change how people eat, to embrace good fats and low sugar, and really feel
Mhm.
good about it. And to do that, you have to have scale. So our kind of, little underlying driving mission is, we want to be that brand and that company that really makes a difference. If you go to some of the Whole Foods in the US now, we have 4 feet on the shelf, 4 whole feet.
Wow. Wow.
Well, you start and you go in Canada and you have 4 feet times 8 shelves, right? And
Wow.
and like, So now you're starting, you kind of have a block, and you walk into a store and you have a block, 4 feet times 6 to 8 shelves. And it screams, love good fats. So the message is, it's okay to eat clean and eat good fats. Like, I grew up on a low fat diet. My health was a wreck by the time I hit my 40s, despite yoga and running every day. So, we have a lot to do still, one step at a time. So I have a lot to keep me motivated.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, one question that I'd like to ask and leave, is what's one piece of advice that you would share with other business owners based on what you have learned in your own journey and what you're continuing to learn as your business continues to grow and evolve?
Yeah, I'm asked this question a lot. For sure, main answer is always start. And I had an entrepreneur mentor tell me this, and tell a whole group of entrepreneurs, just make that first decision. It's often safe to sit on your desk and have your PowerPoint and kind of hum around. Oh, I have this idea, and it's written here. But then it's like, yeah, but you have to take the step. You have to take the step to get a product, to get packaging, to get samples, and to say, you know what? I'm going to Whole Foods, and I'm going to the natural health food store, and I'm knocking on the door and I'm saying, will you put this on the shelf? And until you take that first real step, it's a great idea. And that's a good place to be. But you just got to get that little nudge, because that little nudge is real. And then it's real. You have a product that's going to be on the shelf. Hey, in my case, I had to kind of quickly give up my consulting, my income, right? Like, it's real. So that step is a really kind of move from idea to I have a dream, or one day I will, to I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Suzie, thank you so much for the time and being able to come on to the show. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey. We'll definitely share some links so people can find the products and they can find you online, and to keep an eye on what's going on with Love Good Fats. So thank you, Suzie, for coming on.
Thank you, Tara. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.
Hey, it's your girl, Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on IETV, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Well, they do that, cause we do that though. I see you talking, so we gon' take it though. And yeah, talking cheap, so don't do that though. My click 100 deep.
This is Tyron
and Nicole with your weekly RATV news break. Each Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll come to you with the latest news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We know there's a lot of positive news that doesn't get reported, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your story here on RATV. If you have a positive news story you want us to share, you can submit your story to news@re-tv.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Download the new RATV Live app on your mobile device and follow Relationship Entertainment Television on your favorite social media platform.
Don't forget, make sure you tune into the RATV News Break each Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Growing up in the church, we saw a lot. Things that people refuse to talk about. The elephants in the room. Mental illness, sexual abuse, broken families, domestic violence, and so much more. The Big E, The Elephant in the Room, is a show that sheds light on these topics. We're here to speak about the unspeakable.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?